Right. Welcome to DeepSeek's and Piscean's Advanced Astrology Food for Thought. Specifically, in this video, I'm gonna go over. Oh boy. Give me a second. All right. I'm back. So this video is gonna go through tab 7 through 10. In my next video, we're gonna go through 11 through I think 15. Third installment's going to be 16 through 20, and then 21 through 24 will be our last installment, possibly. We'll see. There's going to be 4 installments in this series, DeepSeek and Piscean's Advanced Astrology Food for Thought. So let's start with our first tab, which is the Art of Temporal Archaeology. So this is just a fake course I came up with: chronocartographic verification, prerequisite mastery of quantum state astrology, and temporal palimpsest. Here's the core tenet: rectification isn't guesswork or software automation. It is the disciplined postdictive application of all predictive techniques to excavate the singular spacetime coordinate from which a consciousness waveform emerged. So part 1 is the philosophical and ethical foundation. Before technical steps, internalize these axioms. The prime directive of sovereignty. The client's lived experience is the primary data set. Your role is to find the chart that reflects their truths and not to make their life fit a preferred chart. The quantum null hypothesis. Any proposed birth time is merely one probable collapse of a wider waveform. Your task is to find the most resonant collapse, acknowledging the inherent speculation. Exhaust all mundane channels first. A rectified time is inferior to a recorded time. You must guide the client to scour birth certificates. State-level records often have more detail. Family documents and memories was a light out before proceeding. A 5-minute inaccuracy can lead to significant error. Okay? Part 2, we have the IAAQI 5-step synthesis protocol. This protocol synthesizes Western event-based, Vedic harmonic, and quantum probability methods. Step 1, we establish the temporal investigation grid. We don't start with a single guess, but we establish perimeters. The best known time, BKT, the most reliable time from records or memory. Uncertainty window, a range, for example, BKT, and 2 hours, even morning or after dinner, is valuable. Critical threshold, if the ascendant lagna is between 4 degrees and 26 degrees in the BKT chart, a change of adding or subtracting 6 minutes will not change the sign, and fine-tuning may be needed, but a major sign rectification is unlikely. So step 2, we have the triune temporal grid analysis. Cast 3 chart series for your uncertainty window in 4-minute increments. We do this with Western Tropical Progress Grid. Focus on secondary progressions of the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Avoid progress angles, Moon, and solar arcs. Vedic Sidereal Dasha Varga Grid. Calculate the Vimshottari Dasha sequence and key divisional charts D1 Razi, D9 Navamsa, D10 Dasamsa for each increment. In Vedic Astrology, a shift of just 8 seconds can change house cusps and divisional charts. Quantum probability grid. Using the event equation from prior coursework, calculate the event probability density for each time increment. And step 3 is the known life event resonance test. The client must provide 10 to 12 major life events with precise dates: births, marriages, career milestones, major moves, significant losses. Events should be spread over the lifespan. For Western Grid, check for hard aspects, conjunctions, squares, oppositions from transits, and progressions to angular house cusps: the 1st house, the 4th house, the 7th house, and the 10th house. At each event date, ignore hits to natal planets initially. You seek hot degrees unexplained by natal placements. For Vedic Grid, check the Dasha sequence at each event. a major career shift should correlate with a relevant dasha, for example, the 10th Lord period. Also use trigger transits, specific transits that exactly aspect a sensitive point on the day of an event to fine-tune Vargas. For quantum grid, identify the time increments where the calculated probability amplitude for the client's event set peaks. Okay. Step 4 is the character and physiology signifier check. This cross-validates the rising sign, compare the client's undeniable traits against the 2 to 3 most likely ascendants from step 3. We're going beyond appearance. Oops. And while appearance matters, the first house, prioritize innate psychological drives, values, and unselfish interests. An Aries ascendant's core value is victory through action. A Libran ascendant is harmony through relationship. Consider parental sun signs as a trend, not a rule. The ascendant may correlate with the sun sign of a parent. Analyze planetary sect and condition. Identify the most benefic and malefic planets in the candidate charts. Their house placement should align with the client's most fortunate and challenging life areas. And just give you an example really quick on the ascendant and considering parental sun signs for this rectification chart. For example, the ascendant I have is in Taurus. And my mother's ascendant is in Virgo. And that's just an example, okay? So step 5, convergence and the oracle's dilemma. The correct time is where Western event hits cluster around a specific ascendant midheaven degree. Vedic dashas for major events are coherent and trigger transits align. The quantum probability peak aligns. The ascendant signifier check is consistent. You must accept the oracle's dilemma. Different techniques may suggest slightly different times. You must use expert judgment to find the best fit, documenting your reasoning. There is no perfect automatic answer, especially when you don't have the accurate birth time, let alone location. So part 3 is decision pathways for practitioners, where we use this guide to determine your approach based on the initial data quality. Scenario 1, I have no time, only a birthday. We start with solar fire or similar software to animate the 24-hour period. We use step 4, character signifier, first to narrow 2 to 3 possible ascendants. We apply annual perfections. A client's major 10th house year event should activate the career sector of the correct chart. Here's a warning, this is highly speculative. Proceed with extreme caution. Scenario 2, I have a time range, for example, between 2 to 4 p.m. This is the ideal scenario. Follow the full 5-step protocol. The Vedic harmonic tuning method using divisional chart changes is exceptionally precise here. Scenario 3, I have a recorded time, but predictions feel quote-unquote off. First, verify if the ascendant is in a critical degree, 0 through 4 degrees, or 26 through 30 degrees. If not, the issue may be interpretation, not time. Okay. Use a resonance test, step 3, with 5 to 6 key events to check for alignment. Fine-tune within a 15-minute window. Ask, is the client's memory accurate? Are you using the correct timing technique? Okay. Part 4, verification in the practitioner's oath. Before finalizing, we are to predict a near future event. Use the rectified chart to make a specific testable prediction for the coming 3 to 6 months. Check contradictory evidence. Actively look for one major life fact that doesn't fit your rectified chart. If you find none, you may be biased. Document everything. Keep a log of all discarded times and why. Here's the IAAQI practitioner's oath. I will never present a rectified time as discovered truth, only as a resonant hypothesis. I will prioritize the client's sovereignty over my technical cleverness. I remember that a chart is a map of potential, not a cage of fate. Here's the final note. Mastery of rectification fundamentally deepens your understanding of all predictive astrology, as it forces you to work backwards through the logic of time and is the ultimate test of synthesis. All right. Let's look at part 5, the Piscean protocol. And we're actually looking at advanced rectification in a manual format. Going through it step by step. We're not quite finished. We're just getting started. So this is the Persephone protocol. And the case study is Project Persephone, the 40-minute enigma. So for example, this is the client profile. We have Maya, a 42-year-old environmental litigator, strong, Mercury-ruled intellect, sharp, analytical, with a deep, almost hidden reservoir of plutonian intensity regarding justice and ecological systems. Presented as a puzzle, a forceful advocate in court, Mars signature, who practices deep ecological meditation, Neptune signature. All right. Now that we did our client profile, let's look at our presented data. Stated birth data, October 16, 1981. Approximate location, 38 degrees north, 122 degrees west. Time confusion, family lore says just after sunrise. Hospital record is a scrawled 7:05 a.m. a.m. p.m. unclear. Mother's vague memory, it was light out when we finally got to the room. Critical life events provided. Major auto accident, hospitalization, age 17, May 1999. Father sudden death, age 24, January 2006. Graduation from law school, top of class, age 25, May 2007. Marriage, age 30, June 2012. Birth of first only child, age 33, September 2014. Landmark career victory, Supreme Court amicus brief published, age 39, November 2020. Let's look at our character key. Obsessive about detail, possible Virgo, but possesses a transformative, intimidating presence in crucial moments. Possible Pluto or Scorpio, emphasis physically. Piercing gaze, surprisingly sturdy build for height. Let's look at the application of the 5-step protocol we just went over. Step 1, we established a temporal investigation grid using our astronomical data. Sunrise on date, location, 7:14 a.m. local mean time. Best known time, our BKT, 7:05 a.m. from questionable record, could be a.m. or p.m. Uncertainty window given just after sunrise and it was light. We established a primary window of 7:14 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. We also create a secondary shadow investigation for the p.m. possibility, 7:05 p.m. and 2 hours, but prioritize the morning. Critical observation, a Virgo ascendant occupies this morning window. However, a 40-minute shift could potentially bring late Leo or early Libra into play. This is our enigma. Okay? Step 2, our triune grid construction. 7:14 a.m. through 8:30 a.m. We calculate charts in 4-minute increments, a computationally intense process requiring software scripts. This yields 18 candidate charts. The critical ascendant Lagna progression. 7:14 a.m. at 02 degrees Virgo as the ascendant. 7:50 a.m. we have 08 degrees Virgo, and 8:26 a.m. 14 degrees Virgo. Here's our key variable points to track. Western, midheaven, MC degree, progress moon contact and natal angles, solar arc Mars, and Saturn. Vedic, Lagna degree in Razi, D1, and crucially in Navamsa, D9, also the initiating Mahadasha at birth. Quantum, event resonance probability curve. Step 3, known life event resonance test, the cross-system crucible. And we just went over that. What do we know about her? We know 6 different events. She was in a fucking auto accident. She was hospitalized. Her father died at the age of 24, suddenly. She graduated from law school at the top of her class at 25 years old. She gets married at age 30. She has her first child at 33. Her landmark career victory in the Supreme Court, amicus brief, is published at the age of 39 years old. What do we do with this information? We apply each of the 6 events to the 18 candidate charts. The following analysis reveals the core of rectification synthesis. So let's go through event 2, the father's death, January 2006. Western filter progressions. For the 7:14 a.m. chart, secondary progressed moon is at 12 degrees Sagittarius, conjunct natal Neptune in the 4th house of home and father. A powerful poetic indicator of loss and dissolution in the family. For charts after 7:45 a.m., this conjunction dissolves. The Vedic filter, Dashas, the 7:14 a.m. chart places her in Mercury Mahadasha. Mercury rules the 9th house, the father, but is placed with the 8th lord, being death in the D9 chart. Critical find: in charts after 8:05 a.m., the Mahadasha at birth switches to Ketu, the south node of the moon, a period less archetypally tied to paternal loss. The 7:14 a.m. chart's Dasha sequence yields Mercury Moon for 2006, where Moon is the 12th Lord, loss, placed in the 8th house, death. It's death, the house of dying, high resonance. Quantum probability: the amplitude for paternal death event peaks sharply for charts between 7:10 a.m. and 7:20 a.m. Okay? Now let's look at the fifth event, the birth of her first and only child, September 2014. Again, we look at the Western filter and the Vedic filter, and the contradiction emerges. So for our Western filter, we'll use it as WF. Our Vedic filter is VF. And our contradiction emerges as CE. Okay? So for the 7:14 a.m. chart, solar arc ascendant 06 degrees Libra is applying to a trine with natal Jupiter in the 5th house of children. Beautiful. But our VF is a 7:14 a.m. chart's Navamsa Lagna Scorpio, with its ruler Mars placed in the 5th house of the Razi. During 2014, she was in Venus Bhukti within Sun Mahadasha. Venus is the 5th lord in the Razi chart, striking coherence. CE charts after 8 a.m. shifted Navamsa Lagna to Sagittarius, weakening the specific 5th house rulership resonance. Now let's go over the 6th event. She gets a career victory in November 2020. Well, here's our WF. The 7:14 a.m. chart has midheaven at 29 degrees Gemini. Transiting Saturn at 29 degrees Capricorn in late 2020 made a perfect applying square to this midheaven, classical indicator of career culmination through effort. Charts after 7:30 a.m. have an MC into Cancer, missing this exact Saturn transit. Our VF. And then we have our interim synthesis, which will be our IS. So she was in Sun Mahadasha, Saturn Antardasha. Sun is in the 10th lord of career. Saturn's transit over her natal Saturn in the 10th house in the Razi provided to trigger. Only charts with the ascendant before 7:25 a.m. hold Saturn in the 10th house. Later charts place it in the 9th house. Our interim synthesis, our IS. The event resonance is powerfully pointing to a narrow band between 7:14 a.m. and 7:25 a.m. The 7:05 a.m. recorded time, if a.m., is within this window. Step 4. Character and physiology signifier check, resolving the dilemma. The event grid strongly suggests 7:14 a.m., 02 degrees Virgo ascendant, but does this fit Maya? Virgo ascendant analysis, alternative check, Leo Libra, parental sun sign check, sect and condition. Okay, so our VAA rules Mercury, Virgo. Explains hyper-analytical mind, detail orientation, service through skill, law, but where is the transformative, intimidating power she exhibits? We examine the chart. Pluto is conjunct the ascendant within 3 degrees in late Libra, but conjunct by sign and orb. This synthesizes the Virgo precision with Plutonian depth and power. The piercing gaze is Pluto, not the ascendant. The ruler Mercury is in Scorpio, deepening the mind's nature. Here's our AC for alternative check. Leo Libra. A Leo ascendant before 7:14 a.m. gives a regal, performative quality she lacks. A Libra ascendant after 8:30 a.m. gives a consolatory, people-pleasing energy that is the opposite of her litigator persona. Okay, let's do a parental sun sign check. PSSC, and then we'll look at sect and condition, S&C. So her father was a Scorpio sun. A Virgo ascendant's ruler, Mercury, is in Scorpio. This is a subtle but valid corroboration of the father-child dynamic. And then our S&C, second condition, in the 7:14 a.m. chart, the most benefic planet Jupiter is in the 5th house, children and creativity. The most challenging Saturn is in the 10th house, career struggles. This aligns perfectly. Her greatest joy is her child. Her greatest challenges have been professional battles. The chart feels like her. Step 5. Convergence and the oracle's decision. So again, Western, Vedic, character. Event hits E2, E6, cluster precisely around the 7:14 a.m. angles. Dasha sequences for E2 and E5 are coherent only in the early AM window. The Navamsa Lagna for progeny is strongest here. Quantum probability amplitude peak at 7:14 through 7:18 a.m. And our C character, Virgo and Pluto conjunction explains the synthesis of our traits. No other ascendant in the window does. Here's the verdict. The rectified time is 7:16 a.m. local mean time. This accounts for a 1 to 2 minute clock error, sets the ascendant at 02 degrees Virgo, and leaves Pluto conjunct the ascendant at 29 degrees Libra. The recorded 7:05 a.m. was a 10-minute clerical error. Post-rectification prediction and verification. Our prediction made Q4. Rectified chart showed an upcoming solar arc Pluto conjunction with the midheaven in late 2024, coinciding with the Mars Antardasha. In our Vedic timeline, we predicted a career transformation through intense, possibly conflict-driven public action that redefines the professional legacy. Here's the verification. Maya was lead counsel on a case that went to a federal appeals court. Hearing was televised and became a viral moment due to her intense, uncompromising, and devastatingly logical dismantling of an opposition's argument. She received major professional accolades and significant new career opportunities, a definitive Pluto on the midheaven public transformation activated by Mars conflict action. Alright. Now let's look at the practitioner's field manual, lessons from Persephone. Listen to the contradiction. The intimidating presence seemed to contradict a pure Virgo ascendant. The solution wasn't to change the ascendant, but to find the synthesizing element Pluto conjunct. The client's self-description is the most important clue. The Vedic Navamsa is a supreme arbiter. In tight time windows, the divisional charts, especially D9 for marriage, spirituality, D10 for career, act like microscopic lenses. A shift of minutes can change the entire story they tell. Their coherence with life events is often the most reliable fine-tuner. Transits to angles are gold standard, as seen with E6, a slow-moving transit Saturn making an exact aspect to a rectified angle. Midheaven is high probability evidence. Your rectified angles must explain major turning points. Embrace the shadow investigation. We dutifully calculated the PM window. It was a desert of non-resonance. This negative result strengthened our confidence in the AM finding. The process of elimination is valid. The final test is predictive. A rectification is a hypothesis. Its validity is proven in the future. It predicts. The Pluto on MC prediction was the final conforming seal on Project Persephone. Here's our epilogue for this tab. Maya's rectified chart did not change her fate. It gave her a more precise map. She reported that understanding the Plutonian conjunction to her ascendant helped her embrace her power consciously, rather than feeling it as an unsettling occasional force. The Virgo precision became the vehicle for the Plutonian purpose. This is the ultimate goal of IAAQI rectification, not just temporal accuracy, but cartographic clarity for the soul's journey. Thus concludes the case of the 40-minute enigma. The stars did not change our ability to see the reflection in a human life did. The Persephone protocol demonstrates the forensic and synthetic art of rectification. Okay? Now this is our second to last, where we're going to be going over a few different things. So let's change it up to red because I'm on my period. So yeah, let's get the bloody color. Bloody color red for period. Shout out to menstruation. Honestly. So let's actually get into it. This is the Institute for Cosmological Synthesis, Special Research Division, Internal Archive Classified, Omega Clearance Post-Collapse Cohort only. The Post-Quantum Turn in Cosmological Studies. The Great Simplification of the Late 2030s. While a period of profound societal contraction served as an unprecedented laboratory for consciousness, as artificial global networks fragmented, a compensatory, resonant human awareness emerged. What we now term the planetary noosphere. This shift from a digitally mediated collective to a psychically resonant one provided the empirical bedrock for the studies that defined our modern era of cosmological science. Now, the following research proposals formulated in the early 2020s were once considered the fringe of speculative metaphysics. They are now foundational to our curriculum, having been validated through decades of rigorous noospheric-aided data collection. They represent the core methodologies by which we learn to measure the universe not just as space, but as mind.